Hello, everyone. In this session, Pawan Birla, Director at Gemini Corporation, will give a presentation highlighting the Basel Convention amendments and their impacts on global trade. Birla, a chartered accountant, is also the head of European Plastic Circular Economy project of Gemini Corporation. Since 1989, the company has been engaged in worldwide sourcing and distribution of recyclables, including plastics, paper, metal, and rubber, giving second life to 1.7 million tons of recyclable material. Thank you for joining us at the conference, Pawan.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. First of all, thanks to Waste and Recycling Middle East and Africa magazine and the US-based Recycling Today for organizing this wonderful International Recycling Week virtual conference. I would like to start my presentation with the word circular economy. This word got attention in few years only, whereas when we look at our business model, it shows we were already doing it from years, but without the name circular economy. Let me introduce our company to you. We, Gemini Corporation, based in Belgium, we are engaged in recycling of plastics since 1989. Having headquarters in the Belgium, we have a team of over 300 people and 27 offices across the world. Recycling is our passion. We enabled the recycling of 3 million tons of plastic waste since our inception, and we are adding 300,000 tons every year. We handle almost 1.7 million tons of different recyclables, which includes plastic, paper, rubber, metal, and wood. We are collecting plastic scrap from 500 collection centers and processing in 300 recycling facilities around 60 countries in the world. This recycled material go back to the circular economy because we sell it to companies who are using together with the prime material. I would like to show you what is our business model. Here you would see Gemini is collecting plastic waste from industry. We get it sorted quality-wise in our warehouses. Sorted material get baled and provided to, let's say, grinding facilities or recycling facilities depending on their form. We enable recycling and complete the process by providing the reprocessed material to the industry, converters, to compounders. They use this material together with the new plastics. Here, again, the new waste get generated and the collection process starts from Gemini. This is how Gemini starts from waste and reach till recycled and prime materials towards to the industry. Here, I would like to present you now the facts about European recycling industry and collection. I have taken a data of 2018, which was the latest available. If we see in 2018, around 29 million tons of post-consumer plastic waste got collected in Europe. Out of that, 32% got recycled. This 32% includes the recycling within Europe and the export as well. Around 42% got recovered by way of energy. And if we see the fact, 25% of the material is still go in the landfill. This was the biggest challenge, let's say, for European economy, which they are fighting to. And there are many goals set to reduce this landfill and use the plastic either mechanical or chemical recovery. At the same time, I would like to present you about the export facts, which is done from the Europe. Plastic scrap export from Europe is reducing year on year. If you see the graph, 2016, Europe was exporting 3.2 million tons. And the last year, 2020, we have done only 1.6 million tons. Why and what is the reason? In 2017, China put the ban on import of plastic scrap, and the European export got reduced substantially. There is almost a 50% fall if we compare the data from 2016 to 2020, where the material being to after the China ban. So you see the bottom left chart where the trade shift is showing up. China was importing almost over 1 million tons from Europe. And after 2017 ban, it got reduced to almost nothing. But there are some countries which got up, like Turkey, Malaysia, Indonesia. These countries have increased their market share and increasing the volume in the plastic trade. This is about Europe. Now I would like to take you to the world plastic facts. If we believe the data right now, world is producing around 300 million tons of plastic waste every year. So it's around 800,000 tons every day. And if we count on truckloads, it is 200 trucks every hour we are generating. The recycling rate of plastic varies from country to country. It depends on their habits, collection program, waste management services, and recycling facilities. Like in the chart, you see that Russia does 7% of recycling, whereas if we go to India, they are recycling almost 40%. On an average, we are worldwide recycling around 16%, which is very low numbers. And the biggest part is the demand is increasing everywhere, and thus the prime production is increasing every year by 3%. Whereas if we see, we are falling on the recycling rates. Till 2017, the recycling rate got increased by 2% annually. But after 2017, because of the trade issues, because of less collection programs towards to and less trade, our recycling rate is falling. So market is shrinking from high numbers to low number because of the regulation, because of the countries who are not allowing the trade. If you see the data 2016, Europe, the total volume of world was 15 million ton. And now, 2019, it shrank to only 5 million tons. What was the reason of it? China ban was one of it, and some regulations. If we see in total, we have 6 billion tons of post-consumer waste going to landfill as of now. If we continue in the same way, I think by 2050, we would have almost 12 billion tons of plastic waste, which is in the ground dumping. So we would be leaving a huge problem for our next generation to come. Due to China ban, this import from the Asian countries got increased, but the quantity which China was handled couldn't be taken by any other countries. So this is the problem we are facing at this moment, and the global trade is shrinking. The Basel Convention rule came in because of the problems running around, the waste was empiling and everybody was looking for a solution. Basel Convention got amended in 2019, where some amendments took place to regulate the transboundary shipments and control the movement of plastic waste. But will this help the shrinking of trade, or it will further put regulation and burden over the trade? We would take a look. Here first I would like to present you what is Basel Convention amendments and their implications. In Geneva in 2019, 188 countries have voted for plastic waste to be restricted in a free movement. The objective was to enhance the control of the transboundary movement of the plastic waste and clarifying the scope of the convention it applies to such waste. It was decided that from 1st January 2021, this will be regulated. What was the amendment? Amendment were done in the three annexes, the Annex 2, Annex 8, and Annex 9 of the Basel Convention, where some new entries got added, which is Y48, A3210, and B3011. And they omitted one entry which governs plastic waste trade, which is B3010. Let me take you to the details of the amendments. If you see Annex 8, there was an insertion of new entry A3210. This clarifies the scope of plastic waste which is presumed to be hazardous, and therefore it is subject to PIC. PIC is a procedure where any export can be done only with the prior information or prior notification approval from the importing country. So this Annex 7.8 governs the hazardous waste. The second important amendment was done in Annex 9, where a new entry insertion was B3010 by replacing the old entry, which is B3010. B3011 clarifies the type of plastic waste that are presumed to be non-hazardous, and as such, no PIC is required. In this plastic waste, almost exclusively consists of one halogenated polymer, provided it is destined for recycling in environment sound manner and at most free from contamination from other type of waste. This includes general polymers like PE, PP, PS, ABS, PC. Next, there was one exception which was made because it is only allowed to be single polymer, whereas we see in our industry we have PP, PE, and PET. These were the three polymers which are collected together. So one exception was made that if any polymer or any mixture of polymer which consists of PE, PP, and PET, provided it is destined for separate recycling of each material and in environment sound manner, they can be exported or they can be treated in B3011. This was exception made. Rest all other polymer, if it is mixed together, cannot be exported and cannot be traded. That last amendment was done in Annex 2. Annex 2 shows an insertion of entry Y48, which includes the mixture of such waste unless it is hazardous, because that will govern in A3210, or non-hazardous, which cover into B3011. So any of the waste which doesn't fall in two category will fall in Y48. So Annex 2 got inserted with Y48 to govern all the plastic waste which doesn't govern by the A320, 3210, sorry, and B3011. Now important is what is B3011 because it's concerned to plastic weight and what is allowed. Let me take you to the next slide. B3011 specifically mentioned 4 conditions. First condition is destined for recycling in environment sound manner. The shipment of waste must be destined to the facility who have adequate machinery, authorization from environment authorities, and the perfect facility with the standard. So there has to go directly to recycling companies, and conclusion could be we cannot make any shipment to third country to a trading company. So this is the first specific news for the B3011 which to consider. Then second is at most free from contamination. So materials should not have more than 2% of non-recyclables content in their waste. Recently, some discussion happens within Europe that might be a higher percentage of contamination can be agreed to be traded within EU. It is not for export, but within EU. If all the member state accepts, there may be a higher percentage of contamination would be allowed. And this would be governed with the new entry, which is EU 3011. This is only applied to be traded within Europe. The third important change is at most exclusively consists of one non-halogenated polymer. The mix of different types of polymers are not allowed to be traded. The waste must be segregated polymer-wise before the shipment. So as I mentioned, there is only one exception, which is PP, PE, and PET, which is the biggest bottle collection in many of the countries. Except to this, if any two polymers are together, it will fall in the restriction, which will govern with Y48. For example, PS and PP mix trays and pots, which is also biggest volume which every country generates. So this PS PP mix is not allowed because it doesn't govern with B3011. As this is the two polymers which are mixed together, it will govern with Y48 and thus it will fall in Y48 regulations rather than B3011. Let me take you to the what is the effect of this all amendments done in Basel Convention. What happens and how the industry took it. Most of the parties and countries of the Basel Convention didn't amended their own rules before it got it came in existence. The Basel Convention rule came in existence from 1st January 2021, and most of the countries didn't get yet their own regulation amended. So effect of this, European Commission couldn't get any reply of note verbal which they sent to non-OECD countries to know if the country allow the plastic waste to be imported, which plastic waste they will allow to be green list, which would be on orange list, and what would be on restricted zone. So European Commission didn't had any information from the third countries, and the effect of this, European regulations didn't get amended. Because of no reply or less reply from non-OECD countries, the B3011 was not yet amended in Waste Shipment Regulation 1418-2007. In absence of the amendments of 1418-2007, shipment of green listed waste were no longer possible to do to any countries without the notification process. The notification process is the same like PIC. The pre-consent is required from importing country to let the material be imported from Europe. In this case, all the material, either it is green listed, if it is non-contaminated, fall in the category where the notification process applies. And this immediately push a lot of volume fall back into the recycling facilities in Europe, which is overflooded, or at the place of supply where it is getting generated. So the trade got shrink in last 6 months a lot, just because the notification process is not easy. In notification process, you have to fill up all the documents, you have to notify from one place of collection to the one place of recovery, all the paperwork, all the chain has to be very clear, and all the parties involved, including port, trucking company, shipping line, has to give their consent that they allow this waste or they have a permission to carry the waste. This process is a time taking process. So almost when you apply notification, it takes 2 to 3 months. So from 1st January 2021, the trade got literally stopped because everything, even the green listed material, fall under notification. So non-OECD countries were out of the material. At the same time, the pressure started going to OECD countries, which was the only possibility to let the plastic waste go to. So the most trade happened in this time between Europe, European countries, and OECD countries. So if we see the conclusion, what Basel Amendment bring us? In short run, we say immediately the stoppage of trade because it was not adopted by all the countries. But in all long run, if we see many times the over-regulation is itself doesn't giving the desired result which people wants. And this is happening from last couple of years with our trade of plastic, where we see the plastic waste is a problem. At the same time, the COVID have proved we cannot live without plastics because every single person got saved from the mask, from the PPE kits. Everything is made from plastic. So we have to see all these regulations. Sometimes they overburden the industry, sometimes they do facilitate. But we have to see what are the right implications. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the all info about Basel amendments, which we have done, which we have seen and are doing with. I'm really thankful for your patience to listen me, and I thanks again for recycling. Before ending this presentation, I would like to just quote one of our quotation from our chairman, Mr. Surendra. The waste is not waste until it is wasted. On the contrary, it is a resource which is full of opportunity. We have to see it. Thanks a lot, everyone, to listen for this presentation. Thank you.